Our next item is item 108, Supervisor Miley proclaiming July 17th, 2026 as Love Letters to Our Bodies Day of Renewal. Supervisor Miley, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, President Howard. Yes, we do have today a proclamation for Love Letters to Our Bodies Day of Renewal. And I know a number of the representatives are in the audience today, and I'll read the proclamation, and then we'll hear from folks and then get a picture with everybody. Is that how you want to do it? Sure. Okay. All right. So whereas the disease of cancer has devastating and disproportionate impact on the African American community, and whereas African Americans have the highest death rate and shortest survival rate for most cancers compared to other racial and ethnic groups, and whereas cancer is the second leading cause of death among Black Americans after heart disease, and whereas African American women have a higher rate of cervical cancer and are more likely to die from it than women of most other racial and ethnic groups, and whereas these disparities are attributed to multiple factors, including a latter stage diagnosis due to healthcare access barriers, socioeconomic factors affecting quality of care, systemic racism in healthcare delivery, higher prevalence of certain risk factors, lower participation in screening programs. And whereas for the past 5 years, Moyo Institute, Incorporated, a 501c3 nonprofit organization, has offered the Love Letters to Our Bodies workshops to African American women navigating cancer with access insured regardless of ability to pay. And whereas these workshops provide psychosocial support and integrative therapy education to help participants navigate the physical and emotional impacts of cancer and its treatment. And whereas on Friday, July 17th, 2026, Moyo Institute, Charlotte Maxwell Clinic, East Bay Healing House, and Black Ladies Advocating for Cancer Care will convene the Love Letters to Our Bodies Day of Renewal Wellness Summit at the Center for Healthy Communities, Oakland, offering restorative services to African American women with cancer and their caregivers. Now, therefore, it is proclaimed the Board of Supervisors, County of Alameda, State of California, does hereby proclaim Friday, July 17th, 2026, as the Love Letters to Our Bodies Day of Renewal in Alameda County. So if we have speakers, if you'd like to introduce yourselves and make some remarks, and then we'll come down and present the proclamation and get some pictures.
And the board, thank you very much. Good afternoon. I'm Gwendolyn Mitchell, founder and president of Moyo Institute. And we are a 501c3 nonprofit on a mission. We're committed to offering heart-centered educational experiences that foster inner peace, happiness, health and wellness, creativity, connection, and oneness. First, I'd like to thank you, Supervisor Miley, and the Board of Supervisors for proclaiming July 17, 2026, Love Letters to Our Bodies Day of Renewal. And I'd like to thank our collaborating partners for working with us to offer this profoundly important day to the community. Black Ladies Advocating for Cancer Care, who's represented here today by co-founder Ms. Juanita Waugh. And she's also going to be honored on that day, along with two other women who are making a difference in the lives of others. And the founder of Food Indie, Suzette Chomet, and the founder of East Bay Healing House, Adriana Parrish, and licensed clinical social worker, Jennifer Grovey. And finally, to our friends at Charlotte Maxwell Clinic, who couldn't be with us today because they're offering services, but they're here in spirit. Each one of these organizations and individuals is in the business of helping to make the life better for women of our community. For instance, Black is a partner with Stanford Medicine and Food Indy, developing a food as medicine research project. East Bay Healing House is offering a variety of supportive services, including Reiki and sound healing. And the Charlotte Maxwell Clinic has been in existence for 30 years, providing free integrative medicine services to low-income women. They do this with the help of volunteer practitioners. When I approached Charlotte Maxwell 5 years ago about partnering with Moyo to offer the Love Letters to Our Bodies workshops for African American women, I learned that although they provide these free services to marginalized women with cancer, that there were very few African American women taking advantage of these services. And this is not different from what research tells us about African American participation in integrative medicine. A review of the research literature set out to answer a specific question: do African American cancer survivors find practices like mindfulness, meditation, yoga, and Tai Chi acceptable? And are they actually using them? In one case, the reviewers conducted a meta-analysis of 284 studies and narrowed it down to 14 that centered on the African American cancer experience, the survivors. And what they found should not surprise anyone in our community, but it's worth saying. African American cancer survivors are open to these practices, that there is real receptiveness to mind, body, and complementary approaches. And the survivors who engaged with them reported meaningful improvements, such as better quality of life, less depression and anxiety, better managed pain, and even an easier time coping with treatment-related outcomes and weight changes. And they also reported a stronger sense of social support. So why isn't this more common? Here's the harder truth that the research surfaces. Even with this documented benefit, African American survivors remain underrepresented in mind-body research itself. And these practices are rarely offered to them as they are a part of the standard cancer care. They're rarely offered as a part of the standard cancer care. And there are barriers, familiar ones: cost, simply not having a program nearby that's accessible or built with this community in mind. The gap between what works and who gets offered it is exactly the space that Moyo Institute exists to close. Not coincidentally, it's also the heart of why we're offering Love Letters to Our Bodies Day of Renewal. And by the way, more than 50 women have signed up and registered for this day so far. And there they'll be introduced to ear seeds as a non-invasive way to experience the benefits of ear acupuncture, Reiki holistic energy healing. And by the way, to my knowledge, I was the first African American initiated as a Reiki master in the US in 1990. They also will be experiencing chair massage to nourish the body, emotional freedom technique, tapping led by Jennifer here to move stuck energy, as well as techniques for calming the stress response and information about healing foods. The women will also experience the benefit from sound healing, which is all the rage these days. And our beloved Adriana Parrish will be offering the sound healing. So we've all benefited personally from introduction to and participation in these various modalities. And we hope that this inaugural event will be the first of many to bring more integrative therapies to our communities. And during that day, we'll also be honoring 3 women. I introduced Mrs. Wah, but in addition, and she's a co-founder of the Black Ladies Advocating for Cancer Care. In addition, we'll be honoring Melody Johnson, who's a caregiver survivor and who started a food pantry in her community for people who need that service. And we'll be honoring Jackie Mungo, who is the founder of the integrative healing, the holistic healing global network. So thank you again for this proclamation and helping to bring about greater public awareness of these life-supporting opportunities. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And if it's okay, I'd like my colleagues to join us. And
Of course.
I'm happy to answer any questions if anyone has any.
Questions? Thank you so much for being here. Let's all take a group photo.
Thank you.